game is done. Six, 5.
We're live?
Yes! Yes, every time Danny says we're live, there's a little bit of terror that comes in me, and I'm like, we gotta do something!
The stage fright poops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not stage fright, it's different. It's like anxious, fun energy. I don't know.
That's good.
It is, yes.
That sounds healthy.
And like a shock to the nervous system. Guys, this is Steve Blum.
Hi, everybody.
Incredibly talented voice actor who's done like I said in my Insta post, a gazillion voices on a million things. And right now we will focus on some Valorant because you are Brimstone.
Hello?
Are you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God! For a second I was like, is he Breach? Okay.
I don't know. I don't play my own games. I have no idea.
No.
Yeah.
But you know the basic names.
Yes.
Super cool. So let's get this out of the way. You are not a gamer.
Nope.
Okay.
No. Sorry, guys. Bad voice actor. I'm sorry.
Most voice actors don't game. I think I know two that do.
Yeah.
Matt Mercer, whom we love,
Oh, yeah.
and Josh Petersdorf. Besides that, like, not a lot, you know.
Oh, there's quite a few.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, there's.
Okay.
No, I think I'm becoming part of the minority now. Everybody's jumping in and doing it.
You know, I'm doing Twitch in a different way. Kind of like interview series that I consider like podcasts via video, but gaming is just a whole other animal. Have you tried playing some of the games that you're on?
Not in many, many years. Yeah, I think the last thing I played was God of War with my kids, and they just destroyed me. And they were just trying to show me where my character appeared in the game. That's the only way I could see it at that time. They didn't really have a lot of reels out there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool, but I can't get past all the buttons. I'm an old school gamer where you only had to know 3 or 4 buttons and a joystick. And that I could handle back in the day, but I also had that addictive personality where I'd play for 12 to 14 hours, and I don't have that kind of time anymore, so.
Well, because you were doing voiceovers left
Yeah.
and right all the time.
And traveling. I was going to 25 to 30 cities a year before this thing hit, yeah.
What thing are you talking about? I have no idea.
4 conventions? What? Hello?
Okay.
Huh?
The
thing, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, likewise. I've been hitting quite a few cities a year. I would say at least 24. Yeah, absolutely. And now we're stuck in LA. What do we do?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they're correcting me. Yes, there are a few voice actors that have channels like Gaku and Johnny Cruz Games, but are they real gamers, like good gamers? Oh, yes, Nolan North and Troy have their thing.
Yes, they do.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny, we do all connect at cons, right? That's where I met Nolan at a convention and
Yeah.
Troy. Wonderful human beings. It is a fun world, right?
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Well, so I wanted to say something about, I moved from New York, where I was trying to do film and TV acting, and doing a little bit of voice work, mostly in Spanish. And then when I got to LA, I started doing animations, video games and stuff, more of them. And I got to know the voice acting community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I'd always been a little bit scared of LA because it felt like it's Hollywood and everyone's just like so Hollywood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was embraced by the voice acting community, and it's the sweetest, like most generous, fun, talented group of people where I feel like there might be egos involved, but most people are really, really cool and sweet and kind, you know?
Yeah.
You've been a part of it for way longer.
30-something years, yeah.
So you started when you were 5?
I'm 60, so.
No, you're not.
I've been at this for
No,
a
you're
while.
not.
Yeah.
What is the magic serum you drink every night?
Blood. The blood of new voice actors. No, I just love what I do. You know, I've been doing this full time since I was 40. That was when I quit my job and actually started doing voice acting full time.
What was your job?
At that time, I was head of marketing for a film company, and I had a corporate job. And before that, I was playing in a band, and yeah, I had all kinds of crazy jobs.
So you're like Forrest Gump. You've just done a million things.
I just fall into stuff accidentally. Yeah, I just show up and.
Yeah. So wait, while you're doing all of this, the corporate jobs, the band. Well, I guess in the band, did you sing or were you the bassist in the back?
No, I was a rhythm guitar player in an R&B funk band.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah,
oh
it was pretty fun during the '80s, opening up for heavy metal acts. So you can imagine how well that went. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow!
It was crazy.
And how long was that stint for?
That was a 6-year period, nurturing record deals and playing the whole circuit, playing the Roxy and Troubadour and all those places. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my God! So you've been traveling your whole life.
Well, that was just local. I only played
okay.
local. We played a couple concerts out on the road, but most of it was just the local LA scene, which was all pay to play back then. It was brutal. It was just brutal.
Yeah. Oh my God! And then a corporate gig. Did you enjoy that?
I did for a lot of years before it became corporate. It was a very small, independent sci-fi horror company called Full Moon Entertainment, and before that it was called Empire Entertainment. We made movies like Reanimator and Ghoulies and Puppet Master.
Okay.
Yeah, way before your time. But I'm sure there's some people on the Twitch who are familiar with that if they're horror fans or sci-fi fans. Because there's a big cult following for that stuff. And I was with that company for 15 years, started in the mail room, and they were the one place that would let me do voiceover on the side for fun on the weekends or evenings. And so I stayed with them and just accidentally became an executive. And at that point, just
Accidentally.
yeah, you move up the ranks, and if you have a good work ethic, that's kind of how it happened there. And it was a really small company, but it became really corporate in the end. And I found myself hating going to work, even though I had a six-figure income with a corner office in Hollywood. The only thing that made me happy was voiceover. So I quit my job and starved for a long, long time after that.
Yeah, let's talk about that segue. But before we go there, the chat's going crazy, just going, oh my God, his voice is so damn amazing. Oh my God. And I'm sitting here going, just keep talking. It's delicious. It's delicious. That's the word to listen to. I'm guessing you do a lot of narration as well, right?
I don't. Actually.
What? You could, but it's boring. It's boring.
I don't. Well, yeah. I haven't found that niche yet. I do a little bit of promo stuff for Adult Swim. I do the weekly things as Tom, the animated robot for Toonami. And I've been doing that for 20 years.
I saw that at the bottom of your IMDb, and I was going to ask you what the heck Toonami was.
Yeah, Toonami actually introduced anime to the United States in a really big way, when prior to that it had only been sort of this very, very small group of otaku who were basically yelling at us all the time for bastardizing the art form by dubbing it. And Toonami kind of launched it on network TV and brought it to a really wide audience and offered better quality anime that brought in a completely different demographic. So I joined Toonami in 2000. I was the second Tom there. Tom is the robotic host of the show. And we kicked our block off with Cowboy Bebop and some of the other anime that were happening at that time, the old classic stuff. Yeah. And it just caught on like wildfire and spread all over the world. We used to broadcast all over the world. Now we're only in the States again, but went off the air for 4 years, and the fans demanded that we come back on the air and shut down their website a few times. It was pretty crazy. So
fans are amazing. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's still a great experience, and I get to do that weekly still. We're on every Saturday night on Adult Swim late.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And bringing new anime and some classic anime to a whole new audience, we hope, a whole new generation.
Yeah. I mean, I think with all these websites like Crunchyroll, it's just amazing, like what things can be seen so much faster than waiting for a DVD to come or, whatever, something to hit the theaters.
Yeah, none of that existed when we started, so people were paying $85 for an episode or 3 episodes on a VHS.
Holy
back in those
cow.
days.
Oh my God.
Toonami, they could watch us on cable. It was kind of amazing.
Yeah. So wait, you were always a creative self with the voices while you were doing this corporate job. Like, did you talk to yourself in these voices? Like, how did you realize you were a voice actor that was, sad working a corporate job?
Well, it happened many years before that. I had been working for that company for 14 years before I ultimately quit. And when I started for that company, it was just a side gig to support me so I could do my music stuff. And I started working in a warehouse and in the mailroom, and everybody in the building wanted to be an actor because it's Hollywood. It was right in the middle of Hollywood. I was the only one in the whole building who did not give a crap about Hollywood or acting or any of that stuff. I just wanted to play it in my little R&B band. And we would all greet each other just doing stupid voices. One of the guys, we just couldn't help it. We'd meet each other in the parking lot. We'd be runners. We'd be driving and delivering packages and things. And we'd see each other in the parking lot, and all of a sudden we'd stoop over and go, "Hello, how the hell are you?" We became 85-year-old men hitching up our pants. And it sort of started from there, and then the guy who was the head of the mailroom, this guy named Victor Garcia, who was an on-camera actor, frustrated on-camera actor, was casting for a Japanimation program that was kind of brand new to Hollywood at that point. Very, very few companies were doing it. Yeah. And he wanted me to come and audition on a weekend, and he offered me free food, and that was really the only reason I came. I did not want to do it. And I just found that the first time I got up to the microphone and they had me audition for a creature, as soon as I saw the creature on camera and they said, "Can you match the movements and the lip flaps of the creature?" I just went, and they said, "Yeah, sure, you're hired." And I went, "What? No, I don't want to work. I just want my free pizza. Damn it." So then I had to learn how to do it, and I started working on these little anime shows that we didn't think anybody was going to see, Cowboy Bebop being one of them, and it just exploded over time. And I did it for fun on the side, on the weekends and at night while I continued to work at this company and play in my band. And then eventually I found myself to be this executive, and I hated going to work every day because everybody was an asshole. And the company had completely changed, and I booked the guy on the old 7-Eleven commercials that would say, "Oh, thank heaven."
Oh God.
That was me.
But and it
so-
played a ton, I'm sure.
It played a ton, but
Yeah.
and so I quit my job because I thought, all right, everybody that I know who's working in commercials is buying houses and cars, and this is it. I finally broke through. And then the union went on strike, and I was out of work for like a year and a half.
Oh God, no.
But I was thinking, I had done a little bit of the 7-Eleven stuff before that happened. I was thinking, okay, these residuals are going to carry me through, and I didn't realize that they only did local or regional markets on cable only. So when other people were getting, $30,000 for a commercial spot, I was getting $400 every 4 or 5 months, and it was like,
Oh my
oh God, what did I do? But I found that, I had kids and I had to support them, and so I got 3 other jobs to support the kids, and I could still do my voiceover stuff, which was literally the only thing that made me happy.
Wow.
And I just continued doing it until eventually I got a better agent, and I got better at it, and started booking games and original animation and stuff, and being able to support myself. So.
And to this day, what are like your top 3 characters that you just love? Like when people say, "Oh, that voice." What's something that really brings you joy?
Oh God, I can't.
In voicing, because there's something quirky about them, or.
In voicing them, wow, that's a great question. God, there are just so many characters. I don't know. Starscream is probably one of my favorites from the Transformers franchise.
You need to help me out because I don't know that voice.
Starscream, I voiced him in Transformers Prime.
Oh my God.
And he'd been done by many, many other actors before and many actors since. And I love the character. He's just this idiot who is sort of like a Trump type figure, but second banana always, and could never quite break through to that point of domination as much as he wanted to. Just a sniveling butthole, and a lot of fun, and he could transform into this really cool jet, and he was actually very powerful and very capable of killing other Transformers. Wolverine is really fun. I've been voicing Wolverine on and off for about 15 years.
Do you have to match what has existed before for those, or this was one of your own?
No, that was the beautiful thing for those. With Starscream, I certainly was aware of what the other actors did before me, Chris Latta being the one who originated the character. And he portrayed him with this in a sort of cartoony way. It was high-pitched. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Charlie Adler was playing him in the Michael Bay movies at the time.
And Charlie did something that was very similar to what I do.
Charlie and I have a kind of a similar voice print there.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, he just couldn't do that particular series. Tom Kenny played Starscream at one point. So I took a little bit of everything from those guys, but they wanted to do something different. It was a different character design. They wanted a little bit of a darker flavor to him, but still capable of screaming in their girly voice, that sort of thing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then with Wolverine, it was really just the voice that I heard when I was reading the comics when I was younger. And a lot of other people had done Wolverine, and when I saw it, they wanted a different voice. They wanted to try something different. And I just did the voice that had been in my head since I was much younger. And fortunately, that matched the same voice that the creators of that show had in their head.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was as simple as that. It wasn't any better or worse than anybody else. It just happened to be what worked for them.
What they imagined.
Yeah. So just playing iconic characters like that is really fun. I love the super innocent little kid kind of characters. I've done a lot of work on Doc McStuffins and Digimon and shows like that.
How do your kids sound? Your token kid.
Well, I don't do kid voices.
Oh,
But
got it. I thought you were
do
saying that.
on kid shows.
Ah, got it. Sorry.
So more innocent type characters. on
You're
kid
like,
shows.
I don't do kids.
No, I don't. Don't put me in that category.
I love kid voices.
But there was a character called Guillemon in a show called Digimon years ago.
And Gilman had this really sweet bubble voice kind of thing. His partner was this guy named Takato, and he called him Takato Man, and he was always hungry, and
He was his best buddy.
Oh my
So
God,
that was-
that's so amazing.
It was one of the few shows that my kids could actually watch. Most of the things I worked
Yeah.
on were violent because I had the deeper range. They would cast me for creatures or
Yeah. Or soldiers.
soldiers or
Yeah.
just or
So
villains.
Tell me about Dempsey. He's also, you said similar to Brimstone.
Yeah, now Dempsey, he's part of the Call of Duty franchise from Call of Duty Black Ops and the Zombies.
Which is huge.
maps.
Call of Duty is humongous.
Yeah, that was humongous. Dempsey's super fun to play, a little bit painful to the throat, but very similar voice print to Brimstone. But he was a little more off the rails for a lot of that. Brimstone is a little more controlled, and he's kind of a guiding light from what I could gather from the dialogue in Valorant. But Dempsey would say stuff like, "You got 10 flesh on my new boots!" You know, it's stuff like that. And he loves slaughtering gut bags. And
Yeah.
his nemesis was played by Nolan North. He played Richtofen. I call him Richtofen.
Oh, I love
And,
it.
yeah,
Love it.
Nazi scumbag. And, you know, so we had this great camaraderie between the members of that team. Fred Tatasciore was part of it. Tom Kane was part of it.
Guys, Fred Tatasciore is Soldier 76 in Overwatch. I just want you to know he's also another brilliant. A lot of these are gamers, so I'm connecting those things if they don't know them, because if Fred's just a son. In Spanish, we say a son, like the sun. He's just a son of a human being. He's
El
so
Sol,
lovely.
yeah.
Es un sol. He's so bright. You know.
He's one of my favorite humans on the planet, and one of the most ridiculously talented people I've ever met, too.
Yes, absolutely. Someone has asked too if you can give them a bang. Is that a something one of your characters
That's
does?
from Cowboy Bebop, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. It's just bang. It's the last thing my character said in the show. For those of you who may not have seen it, it's been out 21 years, but for those of you who may not have seen it, it's the very, very last thing my character said, and it's actually what my tattoo is here. It's that's the sound file for bang.
Shut up!
It was such an iconic benchmark in my career and in my personal life, too. My fiancee, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, directed the voice work on that show. It was her first directing gig, my first leading role, and she played my love interest in the show, too, Julia.
Is that how you guys met?
That's how we met, and we've been friends for all of these years, and then 7 years ago, we got together as a couple. Just
Oh my God!
As fate would have it, yeah. It was pretty
Oh,
crazy.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And then the fact that your tat isn't just the written words bang, it's the file.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to do something because it was such a powerful influence on my life, and I have a bunch of tattoos. That was one of my early ones, and I wanted to do something that was meaningful but not too obvious. And a lot of people think it's a tornado or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Who would know? Who would know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And beautiful. And so Mary directs a lot. But, sorry, do you call her Mary or Mary Elizabeth?
You can call her Mary Elizabeth, whatever.
Really?
She's directing downstairs right now. She's directing
Oh,
the
super
show.
cool.
Yeah, we have 3 studios set up in the house here, so it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
If I'm lacking one, I'll just go over and knock on your door and see if I can borrow one.
Yeah.
Mine is in my closet. It's so tiny.
Well, in this, the studio that you see here was actually a real studio in my old house that I just sold. The main studio that I use here is in a closet that was converted. I'm
Wow.
coming to you now from a little green screen spot of an unused space upstairs.
Oh, cool.
With just lights and whatever. And then we've got a little mini studio set up for directing for her in her office, too. So it's not all soundproofed. Only one room is really got the
Yeah,
tools
well, I
in it.
guess for directing, it's not as bad. She can mute herself while whoever is
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
She also does voices, though. She directs and...
Yeah, she's a badass voice actor and singer, too. She was the main singer for the Silent Hill franchise. So,
Do you guys always talk in voices? I know this is probably a question you get a lot because everyone's like, are you an actress? Are you always acting? But do you happen to fall into voices a lot? Or are you guys pretty just like Mary and Steve, we're chill?
both of those things, depending on the mood. She's the most authentic person I've ever met, and yet we have almost like this voiceover Tourette's that happens, and we just can't help it. Voices are coming out.
Yeah.
But we don't consciously do that. We both talk to all the animals in weird voices. We have a house full of animals, and so that there's constantly voices going on. And actually, when she comes home or I come home, one of us is out, or if we're like in the market and separated, she'll just say, "Papa," and I'll go, "Papa," and we have this stupid little code of how we find each other, and we know that, it's got to be her.
Yeah,
There's nobody else
yeah.
who would do that out loud in public. So
Oh my God.
we have no shame at all.
The secret lives of voiceover actors, secret languages.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, super cool. So I just have to answer one question. You can't subscribe yet, Bellatrix117, because I have to have streamed 8 hours and 8 days and all these things. But soon enough, you'll be able to subscribe. Thank you for looking into that. I would very much appreciate it when the time comes. If y'all subscribe, that would be so great.
Please subscribe. Yes.
Please subscribe. Before we go into you teaching amazingness, I do want to hear a little bit of Brimstone, because, well, I love the way I was introduced to your character was before the game came out. Obviously, we were recording, and I don't know if you've heard how my character sounds, raised, but she's bombastic, she's exaggerated, she's loud, she's fun, she's very family oriented, like getting the group together, and she. The line was, "Oh, Brimstone, why can't I listen to music? You're killing me, man." Some along the lines of that. And, Zach, who's adorable, Betka, was like, like Brimstone's this big guy, and he's like, you take him seriously because he can be the boss at times, but whatever. And I was like, dude, Reyes would just in Portuguese and Spanish, we use the ito and ino as in the diminutive of, hey, little Brimstone, what's up? So I added the, Brimstonezinho, why can't I listen to music? You're killing me, man. And Zach loved it because he felt like, even though your character is like a straight shooter, he would totally kind of look over and be like, I get it, you're cool. Like, he would appreciate me being kind of cutesy with him, but still ready to go into battle.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the intro to you. And then I was psyched to learn that you were, that's the line. Brimstonezinho, are you sure I can't listen to music? You're really bringing me down here, man. Because I want to play my beats and be all loud. And you're like, we're kind of going into a mission here. We can't.
Yeah.
So anyway, so tell me about Brimstone and what clicked into you for making that voice happen. And, hopefully you can give us some fun lines.
Yeah, I actually wrote down the lines from that thing that you sent me, so thank you. That was super helpful. What was interesting about Brimstone is he is a soldier, and I've played hundreds of those throughout my career, but we really took our time with him just to make sure that he was like a friend who would guide you safely into battle and make sure your ass comes out alive too.
Yeah.
And there was a surprising amount of nuance in that character that I don't often get to do. A lot of the soldier type characters are just big and loud and stupid. And,
kind of bro-y.
Yeah, there's always that way too much testosterone and stuff, which he has just the right, he seems to have just the right amount of testosterone too, which really worked for that. But I was just astonished at how much time they were willing to take to make sure that they had exactly what they were looking for. And to be honest, I really haven't seen much of the finished product. I've seen little clips here and there, and I need to sit and really scan and get more of the flavor of what the finished product was. But the response from the fans has been phenomenal. And, but it's really just me louder, honestly, is Brimstone. Like, get off my lawn! That was one of his...
That's one of your lines?
That's one of my lines, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's a Fred Tatasciore line in Overwatch as well.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's funny.
Get off my lawn!
Well, quick side story about Fred. Fred and I have worked opposite each other on hundreds of projects throughout the years.
Yeah.
And there was a running gag where Fred and I would be working, when we were really busy back in the day, we'd be working on 2 or 3 projects each throughout the afternoon. And we'd always cross paths at some point. And the running joke was that either of us was either playing a creature or a human that was being eaten by a creature. And so the running joke was who ate who that day. And so anyway, Fred and I just have a very, very long history together. Wolverine and the Hulk together. We've just been paired up as brothers and as adversaries throughout our whole career.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard stories of Fred just talking about how he walks into the waiting room and then you just go, everyone that we know is here, and you kind of know who's going to book it just because of each other's voice qualities, kind of thing. Yeah. Or maybe that was back in the day. I don't know if he was telling some story of do you guys audition anymore? Really? I mean, don't you just get called to do stuff?
That's all I do is audition these days. I barely book anything right now. No, I audition more than I do anything else. There's an older voice actor named Jack Angel. He still works when he wants to.
Yeah.
He was at my agency, still is. And when I first signed with him, the very first thing he told me was the audition is the job. And for you new voice actors out there, you got to take that seriously, because that is the biggest part of the job, is auditioning. If you get the job, that's just gravy.
Yeah,
So you got to
yeah.
put everything you got into that.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll go, oh, we might want to tweak this a little, but they're going for what they're listening to, and that's what's going to be recorded, you know?
Yeah, sometimes, and then you got to be ready for anything once you get into that booth too, because they might throw 10 other things at you.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just, it is a wonderful thing that it doesn't depend on what you look like, you know?
Yeah.
Brimstone is how old, you know? You don't need to walk in and play this soldier who might be 27 versus, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
our voices are just so flexible.
I'm just grateful I don't have to work out that much. Brimstone's pretty jacked. Yeah, I don't have to do that.
So I was reading here, Maisie, thank you. You said that he has a line to Ray's. He says, Ray's, give him hell.
Oh, okay, I'll say that. Raise, give him hell.
Give
I
him
don't know.
hell. It's so delicious.
I don't know how loud he was supposed to be during that one. I didn't hear that line out loud.
Yeah, no, it's okay. What are some of the ones you wrote down? Because that's what, you know.
I'll just go down the whole list here.
Do it.
They think I'm an old dog? I'll show them just how many tricks I know. I can't close the setting menus on my bracer. How the hell do I? Oh, got it. Sit still. I'll never retire. Who's the old dog now? Open up the sky! Prepare for hellfire! Sorry, I just broke all your speakers. Sorry. And then get off my lawn was the only other one. So that's what I got from that.
That's amazing. It is. I go to cons, people freak out when I say my ultimate is Sombra, you know, and they're like, oh my God, it's in person. But there is something really satisfying about seeing it come out of a human being that doesn't look like the character that we know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, you have all these beautiful gravelly sounds. Is there one that's like a super gentle character, or not a kid voice, but something that's just very not what people associate Steve Blum with? Like, you do a ton of stuff, but moving away from the really deep, beautiful register, what's something that's out there that's like zany and pizzazzy and weird?
Okay, I have the perfect one. There's a show called Gurren Lagann years ago. It's an anime. And I played a character named Liron, who was basically a mecha mechanic. And I came in to read for the main character, who was more of a superhero kind of guy, and ultimately booked by Kyle A. Bear. Did a phenomenal job on it. Liron was a character that they had sitting in this little pack of sides on the other side of the table, and I said, what is that? It's just this really flamboyant looking character. They said, oh, no, that's not for you. And I said, oh, please let me try it. Please, please, please let me try it. And so I just picked it up, and I thought, maybe they'll let me get away with it. I don't know if they will. And I just went, the very first line I read for him was, when you screw it in, give it a hard, manly twist, hon. And he talked about creepy fingers, and he was this genius, and everybody loved him, and it was one of the most fun experiences I have ever had playing a character in anything I've ever done.
Yes.
It was just wonderful, and the director for the show, Tony Oliver, who you may know. Tony directs a lot of anime and stuff, and has done some video game stuff.
I have yet to do anime. If you want to hook me up with anime,
What?
I have done none. So I'm trying. So let me know. I have not met this Mr. Oliver character.
Okay, well, you have to meet him. He's amazing, and
Yeah.
and Tony is one of these classically trained actors, Shakespearean trained actors, and a very respectful, quiet director. Loves actors, loves the genre.
Yeah.
Really pays attention to detail in the story. And the day that I was booked for that, he goes, oh God, no. And so it kind of became my mission to make him as uncomfortable as humanly possible throughout
Oh my God,
all of our sessions.
I love it.
So for every line we had as Leron, as fun as they were with, when you screw it and give it a hard manly twist, that actually made it to print. Whole other side of dialogue that went 3 stages gnarlier than that, and we could have actually created a whole other show. And I did that for every single line just to make it really off-putting for Tony, and I would just watch him go, oh God. And then at every break, he would basically say, I got to go up and wash because you made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Talking about directors, we have a director in the house right now. Zach Betka has joined the stream, so don't say anything horrible about him.
Oh, too late.
Luckily, we got a writer, but he has directed me in some sessions. I know that, I don't know if David directed you for the most part,
Yes.
Valorant? Yeah. And
Hey, Zach.
yeah, hey, what's up? Tell me about working with Zach and his writing skills, because he's so open-hearted about it and generous.
You made my job easy, dude. I didn't have to think, which
Yeah.
I try to do as little of as possible. So no, it was a really well-defined character for me. I'd have to revisit it now to remember what I was doing back then, because everything kind of goes in and out this sieve of a mind that I have. But I just remember it being once we really got up and running, it made a lot of sense. The character was so well-defined, and the way things were charted out and so thoughtfully crafted.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really have to do too much except just play along. It was great.
That's
Great
amazing.
experience.
Yeah. I love when they're so lovely when we go in the booth. Before we move on to your classes, dearest Ivashka, I don't know who voiced Killjoy, and it's not on the internet. So we're just gonna have to wait patiently till IMDb or Riot puts it out there. But right now, it is a mystery, and maybe that person wants to maintain their anonymity, and that's totally cool. So we'll just have to wait and see what's what. Jeff B said if you could give him some Big O love. What is that all about?
Yes. Big O was a show that we did that was sort of like an anime version of Batman, but with giant robots.
Oh my God!
It was this
Who makes this up?
It was so cool. This guy drove this secret agent kind of car. His name was Roger Smith. His sidekick was this 700-pound petite little robot. And he would summon this giant robot named Big O, who would basically fight all these other megaduces and giant robots that would destroy the city. And he was the negotiator from Paradigm City, so it's basically my voice, but a little bit softer. And when he would summon the robot, he'd be telling all these stories about how everyone had lost their memories in the city. And it was, a lot of it was a narrative. It really was just beautifully done. But it was, the designers, a lot of the designers came from Batman. And so it had a little bit of that look to it. Beautiful shadows and colors and imagery. And when he would call the robot, that was really the only time that he shouted, and it basically he jumps into this giant robot, flips this giant thing, and says, "Big O, showtime!" And everybody just loses their shit all these years later over that show. A lot of people really connected to that show on a deep level.
Oh, cool.
And some of it was unintelligible. I still don't understand what the hell they were talking about for part of the show. Because they were in the symbolic stuff with tomatoes, and it was weird stuff. But a beautifully orchestrated show, and the music was really cool. It was awesome.
How do you, I mean, I've asked you about these things, and you keep them all sort of straight in your head. You said your mind's a sieve, but dude, your IMDb has, I don't know, 150 things on them, and there's like episodes of things, so it's not just 150 credits, it's like a gazillion more. That's a beautiful body of work. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I didn't expect this to
and talented.
But I think that there's also a work ethic that goes along with that that's necessary.
Yeah.
Everybody has some kind of talent, but you have to be willing to do the work and sometimes suffer a little bit to get to the point where you can either make it pay off as a career choice or to be able to sustain it. So I really, it was just right place, right time, and I was built for this, honestly. I tried a lot of different things, and I was built for voiceover, and I loved it, and I was willing to do the work that was necessary, and I still am. I'm still up till midnight, almost every night doing auditions, and, this is 30 years into this. I still do that.
Yeah, I've been recommending some friends who don't do voiceover for some animations because they're the right race and ethnicity, and they're kind of looking for that, and they're like, I was up till midnight doing this, and I'm like, welcome to our world.
Yeah, 7 days a week, too.
Yeah. Tell us, I mean, you speak like a professor because you know all the work that needs to go into this. You started teaching class, and it's at blumvox.com.org.inc. What is it?
It's bloomvoxstudios.com.
Yes, I should know this because I did a a video for my YouTube channel where I'm addressing people who want to get into voice acting, and I recommend you and Dee Bradley and Crispin Freeman's websites. And I wrote them out on the video. Hopefully, you know, people are wanting to do that. You know, what is it that made you start to teach? Because you realized people wanted to learn, but how did that come about?
Well, here's the thing. I really didn't want to teach. I to teach. I found myself going to these conventions and doing panels, and as you know, every other person who comes up to you at a convention says, "How do I get into voice acting? I've always wanted to do it."
Yeah.
And so I actually printed up cards with D. Bradley Baker's website on it, and I would hand those out. For years, I did that. And then finally, I have a team that I work with because I can't manage my own money. I'm terrible with anything but voiceover. And they were saying, well, why don't you just teach, you idiot? You know how to do this. Just let's do this. Let's put this online. And there are so many people that are in places geographically challenged where they can't get to where the classes are. They can't get to conventions, or they can't afford to go to the conventions. They might not necessarily want to do voice acting as a career. Some do. Some just want to try it. And to do that and learn from professionals who do this every single day, it was almost impossible for people to get access.
Yeah.
Unless they lived in LA, they could take classes with Charlie Adler or Crispin Freeman or somebody like that. Crispin had this great thing going, and I think Crispin is teaching online now too.
Cool.
But I wanted to do something that would really start with the foundations beyond voiceover of building confidence and feeling good in your own skin and finding access points to your own creativity, whatever that looks like, whether it's voiceover or not, and letting go of the voices, whether they're your own or other people around you who've told you you're an idiot for even considering.
No, it froze.
Told you you're an idiot for even considering this as a career because nobody makes money at it. My dad was one of those people. So I just wanted to offer something that wasn't out there, and I didn't really expect to make money at it. I still haven't made money at it. We've been doing it for, we've been developing this for 4 years. We've been at it live for about 2 years now. Can answer questions. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing meet and greets pretty soon, I think, through Streamily.
Okay, let us know. We're good. Are we good? We're back. Oh, we're back.
Yay! Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, so sorry. Sombra EMP activated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hack the planet. Oh, my EMP is apagando las luces. Yeah, because I hack stuff, man. All right, so let's backtrack a little bit. You've done these classes. You had guests. Let's go back to that. Which were the two guests you had?
Well, we've had 17 guests, I think, something like that. We've had
Holy cow!
Rob Paulson and Fred Tatasciore and
There, so anybody can go there if they'd like to check out the classes, because I think that's such a great way to even realize if you like it, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's why we did it, and we did it on a subscription basis too, so they can sign up for 1 month if they want to, and then they have access to all of the archived classes and exercises and things. We have a newsletter, an interactive newsletter. There's all kinds of amazing resources there, product recommendations, things like that. But the goal of it is really just to make people, to give people an outlet to be creative and to enjoy the process, to learn to enjoy the process, so it doesn't have to be quite as painful as it was for you and me, or most of us that came up the hard way, that didn't know any better, and didn't have that guiding path.
Yeah.
So I just try to lay out a path that is of the least resistance, so people can be able to get those monkeys off their back and get those voices out of their head and just enjoy the process as we go.
But the voices in my head, that's how I create them.
Exactly. So let them out and make money off of it. You don't have to let them. Yeah. You don't have to let them destroy you in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's.
them destroy you in the process.
Oh my God, that's kind of a brilliant analogy.
Now, so when
Yeah.
so many of us were the loud one in the class, or subversive, making weird noises in the back of the room. Now we've actually cultivated that into something that not only fulfills us, but gives people joy on the other side of the glass too. So
Well, I used to imitate my friend's parents. They were really good friends with this German woman called Karen, and she was telling us some story about the woodchucks eating the strawberries in her garden. And the strawberry sounds French, but the way she spoke was really slow, and so I'd go, oh, the woodchucks, and my mom's like, shh, because she'd be right there, and she didn't want to be embarrassed. But I feel like that imitating definitely helped me kind of start getting accents. That again?
oh
Okay,
no,
shoot. Oh, okay.
oh no.
Okay. I mean, we're almost done, so let's hang tight, and then you'll tell it. Like, should we? Do we just we flesh? Do we flesh?
Wait, flesh.
This is like Elmer Fudd.
Right?
It's a character that talks like this with.
Vocal affectations. I try not to.
But I mean,
somebody's-
I
yeah.
thought it was, it's part of her life. She just knew that, and she wasn't,
It's adorable, actually. It's really adorable. I don't know if I've done a character like that, actually. I've done lots of different
Lists of all different sorts.
And-
yeah.
and,
Yes, I try to do these, but usually those don't book. I
Yeah.
think we sometimes want a little more normal. Sometimes.
Yeah, and people are already doing, Eric Bauza already has Daffy Duck, and
So there's not much room for that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's pretty spot on.
not when I'm sitting in the room with Eric. He was one of my guests too. I used to do an impression of Goofy back in the day, and I thought it was pretty good until I met Bill Farmer, and I came up to him at a con, and I was a huge fan of his work. And my sons and I would watch the Goofy movie, and we just loved all that. And I came up to him at a con and went, "Gosh, nice to meet you." And then he does it. He just answers. He's a really sweet guy, and he speaks
Yes,
back to me.
yes.
And I went, "Oh, no, that's the way you're supposed to do it."
But I think there's some impressions that aren't the exact same thing, but they're still so close that they're endearing. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
everyone does a Christopher Walken, and they're all different, and they're all really good.
I
the
don't.
ones that do good ones.
I'm the one guy who doesn't do it. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
So people have asked for you to say Molly. Is that a meme, or is that something you say?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's a
Is
meme.
that from
Yeah.
Valorant?
Oh, maybe it is. Is it? Tell us, chat. I don't know. And Sub-Zero, is that one of your favorite? Oh, Brimstone says Molly. Okay.
Molly.
Yeah.
Is he yelling it, or is he saying it endearingly? I have no idea what the context is.
I don't know. I don't do Christopher Walken. It's terrible. but
Why? When so many people do.
I know it. And then
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero is what's
Yeah, from Mortal Kombat, he's the guy that rips out spines. Sub-Zero is way down here.
oh my God, that is so sexy.
Stay frosty. Yeah, but I guess he's sexy for a moment.
Elizabeth is very lucky.
He's sexy for a moment until he rips your spine out of your body.
Oh my
Then-
God,
Then it's
yeah.
not so sexy anymore. Yeah, but
so
he's
funny.
a badass. He's a badass.
So when you do something down there like this, and then they
Yeah.
have to scream, that has to change, right? Because
It
it's hard to
does.
keep that low register with screams.
You can't. It's always going to be pitched up to some degree. I was doing that this morning on a game,
Yeah.
and that's challenging. But you try to keep the flavor of it, and usually I just add a little gravel to it, and that helps. So for somebody like Sub-Zero, he'd be down here, and usually he doesn't have to
Yeah.
emote very loudly. But when he does, it would be like, "It's your time to die." It would basically just be a little bit of a projection, enough to get the point across.
Yeah.
If I do have to do something in battle, like for Tank Dempsey, it's gonna be like this. So it still keeps that the gruffness, but it is going to be pitched up. It's an octave above what I start at. So
And are you that amazing that like you never deal with any like sore throat or pain or tired voice at the end of a session?
oh no, my uvula is dragging behind me often when I'm doing that.
Okay.
I don't do screaming sessions for more than 2 hours. I have a whole regimen with throat drops and teas and all sorts of things. And, and shutting up. And we actually had a whole class on vocal care in my curriculum, because a lot of people aren't aware of that, and they think that they can do these big loud voices until they get into the studio and they realize that they have to do it for 4 hours.
Yeah,
and they can
it's not sustainable.
They can do permanent damage. Yeah. So you got to be really, really careful doing that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I think I want to audition in a voice, and then I realize it's not sustainable because it already hurts, and so I don't send it in because I know I'm going to screw myself over.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Yeah,
totally.
It's tough. And I used to do those. I used to do, before I was union, I would do that for 8 hours when I was younger, and I'm lucky that I didn't destroy my throat. So
oh my God!
Now,
absolutely.
Now I'm at the point in my career where I can just say I'm not going to do more than 2 hours of that, because I want to be able to work tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And you still do a lot of creature voices, though. I feel like those are very hard on the.
Yeah, I do. You mentioned Baraka before. That was a voice.
Yes, tell us about that.
That was brutal. Baraka was a character for a Blizzard game that was. Oh no, Baraka was Baraka was Mortal Kombat. Sorry, I've done a lot of creature characters, but very similar to that, where it was one of those kinds of things, where it's bubbles and blood and crap going on in the throat the whole time, and super painful. I can do that character for maybe half an hour to 45 minutes, and I'm done. That'll kill me for the whole day.
Yeah. I stay away from creature. I can't do them well, but it is a really scary thing. What are your throat drop recommendations?
I use something called Golden Throat. I have an empty pack of them here. I don't think I have a full pack up here with me in the studio, but this is what the empty pack looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's called Golden Throat. It's a Chinese herbal thing that was created by a Chinese herbal doctor, and it's all natural ingredients. And because I use them so often, I wanted to have something that didn't have, a bunch of crap in it.
Tons of sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, and they last a long time too. I just need to pop it in there for a minute and take it out, and I can work for a little while longer. Yeah, but that's the main thing I use. And then the Ninjum Pekpakoi, I can never remember how to say it.
Is it the Chinese stuff?
Yeah, it's
like the honey.
It's a loquat based thing or something. We call it Fred juice. Fred Tatasciore carries a big old.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say the Fred stuff. Okay, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't say it either.
It's on my website. We actually.
Cool.
We have a whole list of remedies that I put on the website that will help.
Booty farts. Go to that website. Someone in the chat asking these questions.
Booty farts. That's my favorite name of the day.
Booty farts 22. Yeah. And we love him to pieces. And he has a delicious voice. So I hope the career takes off at some point.
Wow. Does that come from the booty or from the mouth? Because I haven't mastered that yet.
Apparently.
Yeah. Roger Craig Smith does it from the hands, so I haven't quite mastered it from the booty yet. I'm working on it.
Dude, you froze while you did that.
Oh no, really?
Hands? Yeah.
Yeah. Am I back on?
Love it.
Yeah. So Roger and I have hand fart offs when we see each other.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this up soon in the next 4 minutes, and then we're gonna raid Jen Cohn because she's live, guys. Farah in Overwatch. But I wanted to ask you about Walla. You've done a ton of additional voices in movies, and did you work? What was the one that you did a Star Wars thing or a character that's a really big deal? And hold on, you know what I'm talking about. I saw it on your IMDb as I looked at it.
It was Zed from Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. It was a character that was introduced into canon in the Star Wars universe during Star Wars Rebels, and based on old Ralph McQuarrie designs from one of the original designers for the original film.
Yeah.
And got to flesh out a character for that for a whole series. It was amazing. The series was beautiful. But since then, being part of the Lucasfilm family, they've invited me to come and be part of the Wella group for 3 of the big films, too.
Amazing. And Mandalorian, you did a specific voice there.
One little thing for Mandalorian, and I'm not sure if I was even credited for that, because I was just doing
it shows up here, Space Operator #1.
Yeah, I did some temp voices for Dave Filoni for that, and he dropped one of them in, and I'm not sure if I'm even credited correctly for that. But for Rogue One and Solo and Rise of Skywalker, I did a ton of voices, and a lot of them you can recognize in there.
They just call you in and they say, we got these characters in the background. We need them to say some stuff.
Well, for each one of those, they would bring in about 15, 16 people. And we would just do all the background stuff that you would hear and see, stormtroopers, Imperials, creatures, pretty much anything that would make a sound, we made the extra sounds for.
Yeah.
And Matt Wood, who is one of the main sound designers on all Star Wars movies, directed us in the booth. So it was super exciting to get to work with him and with people from all over the Star Wars universe. It would be people who had worked on the movies, people who had worked in sound, people who had worked in the games. They brought people in from all over the Star Wars universe to work on those. So I got to work with some of my heroes in the same room. It was really amazing.
That's the thing. I think we get to work with people we really look up to, and then it's like that kind of stays there forever, you know?
Yeah.
And I love watching people in the booth. I got to watch Eric Bauza, and I've seen Fred Tatasciore and, oh my God, Darren DePaul.
Oh.
And it's just like, you know, it's so crazy.
Yeah, Darren, Fred, and I do a lot of Walla together because we have the deeper voice print. So we do a ton of creatures together.
That's got to be so much fun. You just meet up and have fun in the booth and like giggle. Do you guys giggle or you laugh?
We laugh our asses off. Yeah. Oh, they're my brothers. I love those guys. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool. Gosh, Steve, you're so incredible and inspiring. Every time I do these interviews, I've had really long weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But then, like, just talking to whoever I'm talking to, it's just so exciting to hear your life journey and what's taken you where. And everyone has such a different place and way to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that. I encourage you to go to Steve's IMDb and check it out because he's done way too many voices to list, you know, and take classes if you're interested in voiceover. A lot of people here ask about voice acting. And so I will put all of this information where you guys can easily access it because that's going to be, you know, it could be your future, guys. You never know.
It could be, and one of the other goals for teaching was so that people don't get taken advantage of out there, because this is the entertainment business, and there are a lot of predators out there. So D. Bradley Baker does this too. We all really are very concerned with new voice actors getting taken advantage of by the predators that are out there. So we try to put you on the right path to do this.
Yeah.
So
especially if they want you to do a ton of stuff for very little money, and then
exactly.
Yeah, it's really hard because we're trying to make ends meet at the beginning, and you know, when you're getting paid crap, it's even harder. So
yeah, it's okay to do a little bit of that. Just don't let them do too much.
One last request is, can you say something as Aemon? Who is Aemon?
Oh,
prepare to be equalized.
Amon, yes, that was from Avatar: Legend of Korra, and
wow!
Let me just bring this up if I have it here, because Amon, I don't think I have it.
Crazy that we were talking about Legend of Korra a couple days ago with Zach, because he looks like one of the characters, which is funny. And you were in Shazam! I wanted to ask you about that! You did a voice for Shazam!
Well, Shazam is where Fred, Darren, and I played the 7 Deadly Sins. We were the 7 Deadly Sins in that.
So cool.
Those big, nasty creatures were tearing people apart. We were those creatures, so we got to do that whole thing with just the 3 of us. It was kind of amazing.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah, that was super fun.
And that movie's done so well at the box office. That's all great for you guys.
Surprisingly well. Yeah, well, I don't know if we make any money at it, but
I thought there were residuals for Walla and that kind of stuff.
There are. Yeah, there are. And I don't see any of the money. It goes through my accountant, but I don't think we made a whole lot of money on that. It doesn't pay as well as you would think it does. Maybe in the future, when it plays on all the international markets and things, it takes sometimes a year or two before you get money from those things.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how much I made from that thing, but it was super fun to work on it. And we did a few sessions together, so yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, how cool.
Amon from Legend of Korra was a really great experience. Andrea Romano was one of the last things that she directed. She's a legendary voice director.
Yeah.
And Amon was the villain in the first season of that show, wore a mask. And my first instinct, because he was this big orator and kind of led a cult, my first instinct was to be big and broad and that kind of thing. And she said, no, tuck him way in. And so Amon would say things like, equality is everything. You've been purified. That's the way he would speak. And it was one of the most satisfying characters I've ever played. It was kind of amazing.
Wow.
And for the audience, too, it was terrifying because we tucked him in so deeply, and he had this whole hidden agenda for everything that he did. Then he believed in what he said too. He was one of these sort of cult leaders who really believed that he was out for the greater good. He wanted to take people's bending away, their powers away, so that everyone would be equal, and therefore he could dominate them. That was his main goal. But yeah, it was a really, really satisfying character to play, and also working with a phenomenal cast too.
It's crazy. I'm listening to you. Like, I love when you go into the voices of the characters, but then your description of them, I'm just like, keep talking. Yeah. That's great. I love it. Yeah. Do you do a lot of promo work? In a world, blah, blah, blah.
No, because they don't really do a lot of that in that voice anymore. That's what I really thought.
It's a fun voice.
I really thought that would be my most marketable voice, but I very rarely get to do that. And for years, I really tried to get that Don LaFontaine sort of pocket in a world, but now one man. I would try to do that, and then nobody wanted to hear that anymore. And a lot of the promos and trailers stopped using voices entirely for a while. Yeah. Then they started to use the hip, cool voices, the young voices, and then they started to use the sloppy voices for people that just didn't want to articulate anything. And who knows where it is now. So and promo is also a very, very tough market to get into.
Yeah.
I made a new promo reel this last year. Haven't booked a damn thing from it because most of it went non-union. So
see, guys, well, that's crazy. Yeah. But also, you know, you're this incredibly talented, successful voice actor, and then sometimes it's like, how do I get into promos? Like, how does Carolina get into anime? You know, it's just this thing where you're like, how, you know, we're still always trying to knock on new doors and figure it out. So
yeah, but in doing that, you're broadening your perspective of the industry and of your skill set and challenging yourself. So I always. You know, for people who have sort of made their niche in one place, I always encourage them, try something else.
Absolutely.
See what you can do. Whether you get paid for it or not, it adds to your skill set. And when you find yourself in a Walla group, chances are you're going to get to use that announcer voice kind of thing I've used many times in Walla groups.
Yeah.
So it does come in handy if you're that person in the room that can do it, and there's 16 other people there who can't. Yeah. You're going to get up there, and it might just stay in the film. So you never know, or a TV show or whatever you're working on.
It's the only thing I've gotten to do is a loop group for the Avengers video game, and it was awesome to just get to try different things. So I'm dying to do Walla just because I want to go in there and have fun and be nutty and hang out with other nutty people that have to just voice the random kid in the back and the woman with the green hair, and you know, like I think those things are just fun and so hopefully that'll happen soon, you know, but it's and it also just forces you to go, what would that person sound like? Well, let me try this. And we just kind of like are throwing ourselves into something without really knowing what might come out.
It's improv exercises, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. They're like, she's totally crushing on Steve. Yeah, guys, but he's married, okay? Or soon to be. No, it's admiration.
I'm 3 times her age, you guys. Come on.
Not 3 times. But guys, this is admiration. When you look up to somebody, it's, you know, it's a great thing to be talking to you and interviewing you. And I want to let you go because you have things to do. So guys, thank you for watching. You can find him at Blum Spew on Twitter and Instagram. And we're going to put the website on blumspew.vox.
BlumVoxStudios.com.
Yes, that, you got it. Super.
And by the way, I'm so excited for you and your journey and breaking. Overwatch is the thing that really broke you out there, right?
It did, yeah.
It's just an amazing piece of work, and so diverse and wonderful, and has touched so many lives. So congratulations on that. And I love seeing your relationship with Anj. And
it's a fun one.
You boopers, and you guys are so silly. And
well, my character boops people. That's why Sombra boops her enemy. So that's
where it came from.
That's where it came from. It's not this made up thing. It's just Sombra does it, and now I have to boop every fan until the day I die because it's a thing. So that's why at the end of this, I'm going to say keep booming and booping because Ray says boom, and I boop the camera always. But I will say goodbye now, guys. We're gonna raid Jen. I don't know how that happens, Danny. So oh my God, thank you to Daniele Brito, who's Rabasa Lover's creator, and she takes care of everything in my life. So she's handling this Twitch right now, and you're amazing. So thank you for that. I always forget the shout out.
Rafe Dantes, who's my bow tie and elephant, thank you very much. Wrestle Marie, hello. Hello.